3 years ago, we bought this little dinghy from a friend of mine for $25, and it served us very well. And we did some things to it. We painted it with a rubber coating to protect it. We had to patch a few holes here and there. There's a patch here. There's a patch here. And then earlier this year, we were at a public pier in Nassau, and it turns out there was a pipe sticking up out of the ground at the pier, and at low tide, we punched a hole in here. And so I tried to repair it, and I repaired it the first time, waited a day or two, used the dinghy, and then it started leaking again. I repaired it a second time. I repaired it a third time. I repaired it 7 times, and it just kept leaking. So we're going to see if we can fix it the 8th time with the 8th attempt. And otherwise we'll have to get a new dinghy. So let's see if we can fix it. Peeling off here. That's what we want. So I'll get up close with this. We need this to completely come off, so we can sand it and prep it, and then glue it again. Actually using the dull side of the blade like a scraper. So I can't really cut it. It's going to be too easy just to slice through the material. And a big thing on the boat, your dinghy is like the car you have at your house. When, if you lose your car, you've got trouble getting to work. And unlike a car and a house, you can rent a car to drive to work till you get a new car. But when you're out cruising, if your dinghy is stolen or breaks down like this, you have no transportation to shore. So it's really critical that you keep it in good condition and that you have the materials you need to repair it. If I can get this repaired properly, then we'll keep it for another season. If I can't, then I'm gonna have to get a new dinghy. Right now they're running, for this size, a 9-foot dinghy, the good ones, about $5,000 or $6,000. So it comes out of the cruising budget. And you really don't want to spend that kind of money every month, but it's in the budget to replace late this year or next year. So one way or another we'll come up with it, and it'll be fine. But if I don't have to replace it, and this will service us well, then we'll keep using it. Another thing is, an old carpenter, you try not to get on your knees as much. If you can sit on a cushy pad and do the work, it's much better. It's tedious, but it's a overcast day, so it's not nearly as hot as it could be today here in Panama. Keep working on it. Once I expose the hole, I'll show you the hole as well. Here's the hole. That's a pretty good sized tear. So what we're going to do is cut a round patch, push it through the hole, and bring it back tight and glue it from the inside. And then we'll take a round patch similar to this but different material. This didn't bond well, and we'll put that over the hole And that should be as good as we're going to get on this repair. The surface has to be perfectly smooth to get that to bond, but we're going to fix it. So I'll take this patch and throw it in the trash, but I've got good material. As you can see how this glue didn't stick to this patch at all, so no wonder it kept leaking. So we'll replace this. So here's my patch, and this little piece is going to come through here, and it'll glue on the back of here, and then when you pull it tight, it will press up against the inside wall like that with glue. We'll let that dry, and then we'll put a patch on the outside to give it a final seal, mainly because the cut is so big that, and I'll give that a day or two, and then I'll patch the outside, and then I'm going to let it sit for 4 or 5 days, because the last times that I patched it, I'd only let it sit for a day because we were out on the water, and then I'd use it and it would leak. So hopefully this will be the final attempt and final cure. So just got this little piece I just pushed through, and I'll glue up all around here and push it through, let this dry before I apply it inside. Okay, so here's glue. Just getting it all goopied up. I'm going to push that through, pull it through. Like that, and I'll keep some pressure on it to make sure that it seals properly. Okay, we have this glued up. You have to let that sit for a little while to get tacky, or else it won't cure properly. And this is the back side. And I'm going to try to reach inside this hole and get glue on the inside of that so this patch sticks properly. It's going to be tricky, but I think I can do it. And then I'll pull it tight and hope that we can get that to bond properly. I'll just have to keep some tension on this, and I'll pull that this little nipple piece out, and I'll just hold it and get that glue to stick. All right, so now I've got to do the difficult part. I've got to get this glue on my finger and smear it on the inside. And you have to let it set up to get tacky, because if you put the patch on when it's still wet, it will not stick. And then I'll pull that little nipple on this thing through, and I'll hold it for about 20 minutes till it sets up properly. This is not easy. Hanging on to this little piece here. See if we can get this to unroll and stick. section up on the bottom, and I'm rubbing this to try to make sure I get a good tight fit with that patch. Here's what we got, and hopefully that's on there nice and tight. We'll let that cure for a day or so, and then we'll put a top patch on it. That's pretty much it. Well, it's the next day. We let this first inner patch cure, and it looks like it's ready for application. We're going to take this piece, use this to trace out a circle, cut it, and then we'll clean up this a little more. It still has some glue in here. I'm going to clean it up real nice. Put some glue on that. Put some glue on this. Let them sit. You've got to let them get tacky. And then press them together and roll them. And I'll back it up here. And then I'll let this dry for maybe 4 days, 4 or 5 days before I inflate it. And hopefully we got a good bond on the back side. We'll get a good bond on the front side. And that should be the end of this. If it's not, then I'm probably buying a new dinghy, but I really don't want to do that right now. Just trace this. You never have enough Sharpies. I got lucky. One of the guys here at the marina that's cruising was an outfitter for 12 years. For a river outfitter for river raft trips, and I told him I had tried to repair this thing 7 times in a row, and it always seemed to leak, and he told me that I definitely was not waiting long enough for the glue to cure, and I was being impatient. So this time I'm going to actually be patient. But last time I was cruising, we needed the dinghy, and after a day or two I'd just get impatient and inflate it, and it seemed to hold air, but then when you're driving back and forth, it's flexing everything. Of course, because the glue had not fully cured, it would start leaking. And I can be stubborn, but eventually I'll get everything filled out. So here's the piece, and I'm going to scuff this up with some sandpaper. He told me to wipe it down with alcohol, and then you apply glue on this surface, glue on that surface, let them get almost hard, and then press it and roll something flat on it. Make sure that it really presses down tightly, and then let it sit. So we're going to sand this with, this is I think it's 80 grit, maybe 60 grit probably. We'll scuff this up. It just allows the glue to have a little better surface area. So we scuff that one up, and then we'll scuff this up. Something like that. And we'll take our alcohol per miles instruction. It's interesting at these marinas you get people from, especially here in Panama, you may have 20 different countries represented at the marina right now. When we're watching the World Cup right now, it's amazing. There's always somebody from one of the countries, like it could be Latvia or Russia or whatever, and there's people from those countries here at the marina because it's a crossing point where people are going east or west, and they're coming from all over the world. It's pretty cool. But also there's a high concentration of sailing experts here in Panama at the marina. There's always somebody that's an expert in something that you need, and it's nice to be able to have access to them. So here's the glue that comes with the kit, They make a two-part, but I don't have access to that, so I'm using the one part. And the thing with the one part is you have to be patient. It's one of those things. I'm like a little kid. Once I get something fixed, I want to use it right away. And I guess part of getting older and more mature is patience. So I'll apply this. I'm going to spread it out. I'm using the finger technique because this glue, it'll come off your fingers like contact cement. It's very, very similar. And I'll just spread this out. You don't want it too thick, but you'll spread it out. It'll start drying. If you try to put the patch on wet, it won't cure properly. So you need to get this to where it's tacky. But, you know, almost dry. And then it needs good pressure. So then we'll put on here, and then we'll spread this around. You'll notice, I know I should wear gloves and all that, but as long as it doesn't leave a permanent mark. And somehow I always seem to get to work with my nice clothes on. This is one of my nice shirts, of course. It's not unusual for me to ruin shirts regularly. So I'm gonna try and behave myself and not get this stuff all over my shirt. It's not likely it's going to come off. So I'll let these sit. I'll let this sit, and once it gets dry, reasonably dry, I'll apply it on here, and then I'll roll. He's recommended I let it sit for 5 minutes. I'd heard varying degrees depending on who you talk to, but somebody that worked in whitewater rafting for 12 years, I think immediately he has credibility, and I've watched the way he puts his boat together. He's done a good job, so I'm inclined to take his advice. Since I've tried 7 times unsuccessfully, but I'm stubborn, but I will get this thing to work. Okay, so I put this on. I don't have a roller, but I have this as a nice smooth edge. I'm just pressing it to make sure we get good contact. Okay, so now it's glued on there. I'll just have to get this glue off of my fingers, and we'll let this sit probably for 4 days. Okay, I think we got it. It's holding air. We've got a nice repair here now. And I'd like to thank Miles on Blue Horizons for helping me out and steering me in the right direction. It's very important to have friends that are knowledgeable in the sailing community. If you like the video, please click like and subscribe. And if you want to leave comments, that would be great too. Next time, we're going to paint the dinghy with a rubberized coating. And after that, we just have to compound and wax the hull and then get the boat back in the water so we can cruise. Thank you.